welcome back, everyone, to CozyCryptidGaming. As always, I am your host, Cozy, and this time around, we are here with a game called Assemble with Care, which is basically a restoration and repair simulator for all kinds of important objects that people bring to you. Everything from old cameras to pocket watches to I believe there's like a radio at one point. But we'll be going through and helping people and fixing treasured possessions as we go. This is not actually the title screen. This came up before. This screen that's currently showing on stream here is something that came up before any kind of title screen, any kind of made with whatever production company. There has been literally nothing before this, and it's like a little interactive. But also, as a side thing for this stream, I will be, since we're talking about like repairing objects and things like that, you're all also going to get the side info of Cozy's Guide to Household Tools, or more accurately, what things you actually need around the house to just repair various things you have. Because I've been doing assorted handyman things for a long time at this point. And just like things that I think everybody should have, or things that you expect you might need, but generally don't. But yeah, so I'll be going through various tools like that, and as we go through the game. Also, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate. Hopefully it was a nice and relaxing time. I did a lot of baking, so I'm happy. And we've been slowly putting up the, festive Christmas lights. Speaking of which, there will be a Christmas-themed game later in December. Not next week, because I probably won't be streaming next week, but after that, we will be coming in with a festive holiday game that I've been waiting on for a while. But before anything else, let's get started with Assemble with Care with Maria's mix. Oh, it rotates itself for you. Oh, that's really cool. Let's get this to play the sound. That's a really elegant way to do your tutorial. That's really good. Well, this is fun. I know nothing about this game other than you help fix people's treasured possessions, so I'm already happy. New chapter added.
After a year on the road, I thought I'd get tired of traveling. The endless clatter of railways, highways, and everything in between.
I did not realize this was narrated. Okay, that is less chatter for me to do.
But as my train pulled into the station at Bellariva, I felt every bit as excited as the first day of my journey.
Actually, is the volume okay for everybody? The sliders should all be in the right places, but if it is not, please let me know.
A whole year. It felt like a lifetime. The places I'd seen, the people I'd met, of course, the forgotten treasures I'd given a new lease of life along the way. I'm a restorer by trade. Bringing our most beloved possessions back to life is what I love to do. I'd been traveling for months, working my way from one town to the next, fixing everything from family heirlooms to VCRs. Bellariva was my chance to take a break. Unfortunately, that would have to wait until after I'd unpacked.
Okay, let's unpack, and I will probably end up going through the list of tools that we have. How does it want me to unpack this? Oh, the clasps! Okay. Alright, what do we all have?
My passport. Not many blank pages left now. The tools of my trade. No hope of restoring things without these. My favorite overalls. These will never go out of style. My parents took this after I made my first repair. Seems like a lifetime ago. Looking forward to taking more close-ups of my fingers with this.
Oh, that's like an old disposable one. I like that. I like old cameras. They're fun.
I'll hand these out once I'm settled in. Fingers crossed they get me some work. Who doesn't love a scrunchie? Practical and stylish.
That is true. And they're better at holding your hair back than just normal elastics.
I saw a guitarist wearing these at a show once. Rock and roll repair woman, at your service. I picked up these sunglasses on my last stop. Hopefully I'm cool enough to pull them off.
There we go. Ooh. Full control over all the ways you can rotate it. Nice.
Finally, I'd made it to Bellariva. I'd come for the food festival, taking place in a few days' time. After living off TV dinners and instant ramen for the last few months, I was craving a decent meal. Of course, I'd need to earn enough money to pay for it, so I figured I'd head out the next day and find some work. My parents never wanted me to go. They wanted me to stay in their shop and have a simple, stationary life. I knew there was a world out there, beyond the four walls of our antique store, that I had to be a part of. I daydreamed constantly about the weird and wonderful places each of our antiques came from. I loved figuring out their stories, revealing the memories hidden beneath the screws and wires. My story in Bellariva began with a little girl, and a voice she was longing to hear.
Oh, this is just nice. This is just a nice little game. Oh, it even has a stage select so you can redo things. This is great.
It was my first morning in Bellariva, and I couldn't wait to leave my hotel and explore. It was a quiet town, its streets and alleyways basking peacefully in the hot morning sun. In the main square, meanwhile, preparations were underway for the festival in a few days' time. As I handed out my flyers, I wondered what the people of Bellariva would need me to fix. So far, everything here seemed perfect. I was starting to worry I'd made a mistake when I felt someone tapping me on the back.
Hi, I'm Izzy. Do you know how to fix things?
It was a little girl, maybe 7 years old, who must have gotten hold of one of my flyers. She rummaged around in her backpack until she hauled out a battered red cassette deck.
My tape is broken and I can't make it work anymore. I tried to fix it myself, but there's this metal thing in the way. Can you try?
Absolutely, tiny child. Okay, this is pretty simple. Yep. Actually, this is where I can get into various tools you always want. Rather than saying that you need like a different size, a bunch of different screwdrivers, a lot of places, a lot of tool stores will sell, basically like a multi-screwdriver, which will be like, it'll...
Aha! Those batteries look like they need replacing. Luckily, I have some spares.
Yeah. So like, the way that this screwdriver is shaped, you'll have like the standard handle and then the shaft there, but at the end, rather than just one tip, a lot of places will basically sell something where the end of it is a little, usually magnetic, receptacle, so that you could swap out a bunch of different sizes of screwdriver bits. So you can get multiple, you'll get, usually in a set, it'll be multiple sizes of flatheads, which are just like a wedge, and then multiple sizes of Phillips, which are the X-shaped one that we saw here. And honestly, you also can get older ones that where instead of having those bits either loose or as part of a larger kit, the bottom of some of the handles will unscrew, and it'll be like a hollow storage space where you can store all the little extra heads for it. You find those a lot in, actually, antique stores and, like, flea markets and stuff. I actually have a couple of them because I'm me, and I like having extra tools and things, because sometimes you need ones that are longer than others. I do also think that every toolkit should have one, like, almost oversized flathead screwdriver, because sometimes you need just a long, sturdy piece of metal with a flattened end for to like lever things out, and you don't necessarily need a whole crowbar for that. So just get yourself an oversized flathead screwdriver. Put this back on. And screwdriver. No, I need... Yeah, oh, good! Sorry, I didn't notice this the first time. Also, any, like, toolkit that you have should include either a little dish or preferably, like, a little, like, Tupperware-ish container, preferably with a closable lid, so that you have a place to put all your little screws and nails and tiny bits that can get lost, because it is so incredibly helpful to have that. And it prevents the universal experience of, oh, I dropped the screw. I heard it bounce. I heard it bounce. Where did it go? What floorboards did it vanish between? But yeah, so that can just be, like, just having that little container will make your life a lot easier. Let's see. We're going to put you on the side there because you're fixed. We're going to take these. And this is another old trick. So for any audio cassettes, you can just take a pencil. And, oh. And...
Why did you do that?
Oh. The game will explain it for me. There you go.
How did you do that? I didn't see.
Yeah, basically you can just use a pencil to rewind the magnetic tape in any cassette tape. It's just a good little trick. Then we'll take you. Going to hit the eject button, and we will slide the tape in.
Will you dream a dream for me? If I sit by your side and hold you so tight, know that I will always love you, even though we both know that we must say goodnight. Good night, my darling.
Aww, that's really sweet.
When it finished, Izzy picked up the tape deck and tucked it carefully into her backpack.
Thanks, Maria. You're the best person at fixing things ever.
No problem. Who was that singing? They're very good.
It's my mum. She's not here anymore.
Izzy trailed off. It was the kind of silence a cassette tape would never be enough to fill. When Izzy's friends called for her, she dug deep into her pockets, looking for something to pay me with. Eventually, she produced a grand total of a stick of gum, 3 mismatched buttons, and a yo-yo.
Personally, I would take the buttons, because you always need more buttons.
I usually preferred a check, but Izzy looked so serious, I wrote out a full receipt. She seemed like a happy kid, but beneath it all, part of her life had been shattered. Part I wouldn't be able to fix.
Yeah, I think that's part of why keepsakes become keepsakes. They are a vessel for memories. Oh, are we gonna put a figurine back together? Heck yeah! Ooh, we can talk about my good friend Contact Cement.
My first repair complete, I spent the rest of the day doing small jobs in and around the square. I was exhausted when I got back to my hotel and found a message asking me to make one more visit. The address led me to a quaint little house, a stone's throw from the beach. Bathed in the evening light, it looked beautiful, in spite of its flaking paintwork and chipped tiles. The front door was opened by a harried-looking man, still dressed from a long day at the office.
Are you Maria? My name's Joseph. I'm Isabel's father.
Oh!
I'm so sorry she bothered you this morning. Please, come in. I'd like to settle up properly.
On the mantelpiece, I saw the remains of a broken statue. Without thinking, I picked up a fragment.
This is a good dad.
Ah, my father's statue. What's left of it, at least. Yet another way I'd have disappointed him.
Oh.
It survived 100 years in this family. But 5 minutes with Isabel and... do you think you can salvage it?
Yeah. The difference between, like, figurines and statuary and, you know, toys. So, but let's see what we... Okay, it's not going to say if it's actually contact cement, but, yeah, there's this stuff called contact cement. It's basically super glue for things that you never ever want coming apart, and usually stuff that isn't, like, porous. At least that's how I've always used it.
Will you be able to see the glue afterwards? I don't want people seeing the cracks.
Actually, that is a thing for stuff that I use as contact cement. It dries very clear, and you don't need a lot of it. So a very thin layer can actually be very useful and fills in any cracks usually. I'm gonna get this is the body.
Sometimes I think my daughter should come with a warning label.
Don't be too hard on your kid. She's 7. That would be up there, so that means this is not weird. Oh, okay. I guess that was enough glue. I would have wanted to do more glue on that like vertical surface there, but then again, it might bleed through in enough places to be fine.
Is this glue really strong enough to hold everything together?
As long as it cures properly. And then actually that is a good thing. A lot of glues will have a like how long you need to have them like clamped or held together, and then how long they need to like rest before they become fully bonded. Good example, super glue. Usually you don't have to wait very long for its initial hold, but you should then wait like 24 hour. Most things will be a 24 hour to what's called cure to their full strength. Like super glue and a lot of glues that your average person would be working with would probably take somewhere between like 5 and 20 minutes, depending on the substances, to cure to where they'll hold on their own. If they require longer than that, it's usually a good idea to figure out some way of clamping stuff beforehand. Like honestly, this is something that I probably would do in multiple stages, like maybe even over multiple days. And actually, I probably would have done attaching it to its base first and then building up. That's a slight mistake on my end. So actually, let's put you back over here. I'm going to take the base. I'm going to rotate the base. Yeah, so you would slowly just build up, like from the literal ground up. And I don't have the control that I would have in real life because this is a mouse. But yeah, and you don't want to like fill all the empty space, because when you use glue, it's just it will, seep in under, pressure and whatnot. There we go. Wentwood porcelain. Okay. Never actually worked with true porcelain before. But yeah, super glue and if you really want to be extra, contact cement. Those are definitely two things that I would recommend in like a repair kit. Not necessarily stuff that you would need for like everything around a house, but like super glue is useful. Super glue is nice.
Thank you, Maria. It looks as perfect as it ever did. My father wanted me to make something of myself. He didn't have time for anything less.
Sounds like a demanding father.
As Joseph put the statue back on the shelf, it nudged against the family portrait stood proudly next to it. So he was Bellariva's mayor. And that was Izzy's mom. They must both miss her so much.
Sorry, I'm a little tired. I've been working late getting things sorted for the festival. There's only a few days to go. Looks like I'll be working late. Again?
No.
When I told my parents I wanted to leave, they always found an excuse to be busy, to avoid talking about it. I guess keeping themselves occupied was their way of pretending it wasn't happening.
I have been there. Because sometimes it feels easier to just keep doing things rather than think about something that is stressful or bothering you. I will put a content warning on the VOD for this of just like, yeah, so tonight we get a little real about feelings here on CozyCryptidGaming, and that's okay.
Joseph's work must have been taking up so much of his time. But maybe that was what he wanted. I just hoped he was finding enough time for Izzy, too.
Really, game? Okay, so a thing that, just for my particular stream setup, any of the little Steam notifications, those don't yeah, the Steam notifications, or really notifications at all, won't show up on the stream. So that means all of you watching just missed the joke of the achievement for finishing that third repair there is Statue of Limitations. Just, I enjoy a good pun, and that was very good. Ooh, an old rotary phone. Okay, let's go fix a rotary phone. I actually had one of these.
My second day in Bellariva dawned bright and clear. Another beautiful sunny morning. Walking into town, I passed cafes overflowing with customers cradling their morning coffees. I stopped, breathing in the smell of roasted coffee beans and freshly baked pastries.
Ah, truly wonderful. I do love a good cup of coffee. I'm still chasing that Turkish coffee I had once in Vermont. I truly have not had anything better than that yet.
I was about to go inside when the owner of Carmen's, the cafe next door, stopped me.
Hello, Maria? Were you here yesterday handing out flyers? I have a job for you.
Her place was petite, tucked between its competitors as if hoping they wouldn't notice. Judging by the empty tables inside, though, her potential customers hadn't noticed it either.
It's a bit slow today, but we're just getting started. I'm sure it'll pick up soon.
As Carmen chatted, she walked over to the counter and returned with an old rotary phone.
At least I've got plenty of time to practice my recipe for the festival. It's a new special I've been working on. I was hoping to call my sister for some, seasoning tips, but it won't connect. Can you see if you can figure out what's wrong?
Absolutely. So yeah, for those, oh man, do I have to give like an explanation of what a rotary phone is? That. Oh, yeah, you can just
You
unplug
can
it.
fix it, can't you? I can't afford to replace it.
Okay. Yeah, we can absolutely take out all the screws here.
Obviously, we'd normally be much busier than this.
The inclusion of the little cup for the screws is such a good detail. This is, like, clearly this is a game made by people who, you know, care about restoring old objects and treasured keepsakes, but like just that having that cup there is just so good. Oh, there's a damaged bell. Okay. So let's see here. What do we have? Going to rotate so that we can see the screws. Since we're right normally I would say detach, disassemble as far as you're going to go and then start replacing and reattaching things. But also this will limit how much things can get lost, so I think we are going to take our bell here. And nope, I will need another screw. Also, we seem to be living in a world where all screws are universal, so we don't really have to worry about like making sure that it's the right screw for the right particular section. Click the wire. Oh yeah, it's just oh, we're not going to do that yet. Actually, we're going to disconnect.
These connections aren't quite right.
There.
Check the wiring.
Remove that, because that is super burned out. There we go.
Looks like this new circuit board is all hooked up.
Okay. The fact that we just had a spare circuit board for a rotary phone, just in our toolkit, says a lot about the world building here. Also probably the rotary. I mean, if you're an antiques person, I guess rotary phones would be something you would always want to have the parts for.
There's still a part I need to attach. Where does it go?
We're going to attach the back first, because I want to make sure that everything lines. You want to make sure that everything lines up. And normally you actually wouldn't be able to reattach the handpiece before getting the rest. Actually, I guess you could attach it, because there is a cutout there. You could have attached the handset to it. That might have been a good thing to do before fully securing everything and make sure everything
Looks like
worked.
something is still missing.
I'm aware, Maria. Need to reattach it? Did I do the silly thing? I might have done the silly thing.
There's still a part I need to attach. Where does it go?
I heard you, Maria. I heard you. Okay, I guess it does want me to attach it.
There's still a part I need to attach. Where does it go?
How does it want me to attach things? Oh, it probably wants me to attach it here. I may have done things out of order and the game might be mad at me for it.
I'll need to check the wires are in the right configuration.
Okay, that's definitely wrong.
There's still a part I need to attach. Where does it go?
Oh, I'm gonna... Oh. Oh, that was nice. You pick up the coffee as a little thing for pausing. That's really good. Also, yay, voiceover effects and music are all separate sliders. I'm going to restart this one because I think I did things a little out of order and the game is not happy. So rather than sitting here getting frustrated with it, we will exit to level select. We will play disconnected.
My second day in Bellariva dawned bright. Walking into town, I was about to go inside. Her place was...
It's a bit slow today. At least I've got plenty of time to practice. Can you see if you...
And we'll just go speed through that dialogue, pull this up, and we will try this again. Okay.
You can fix it, can't you? I can't afford to replace it.
Flip this over. Screwdrivers again.
Obviously, we'd normally be much busier than this.
It's not a problem. Small restaurants. Slow, like, empty restaurants with heavy meals is where joy lies. I am a big fan of empty diners. Always good food. Screw that. Remove. And yeah, let's just fully take this apart. Really get it down to all the bits. Oh, I think it wants me. Okay. Oh, it wants me to fully just remove everything. Okay, that probably is the safer thing to do. Just, like fully remove everything possible. Get this rotated. There we go. Okay, now we will use the wires that we have. Connect. 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 Connect.
Looks like this new circuit board is all hooked up.
Okay. Yep, that's what it was. It wanted you to fully remove everything. Okay. Good to know. I'm going to reattach this. Take one of our screws. Screw it back in. Take the other bell. Put it there. Lid. Reattach all of our screws. And should be there shortly. Oh, yeah, as I was saying, I actually had a rotary phone in my house growing up, way past the point when anyone would be expecting to have a rotary phone. Because just due to some quirk of the wiring, it was kind of the thing that you needed to have plugged into the landline.
Still a few parts missing.
It was kind of what you just needed to have plugged into the landline in order for any of, like, the newer phones or the fax machine. Yes, my mom still had a fax machine, and, I mean, she still has a working fax machine, because every once in a while she needs it for work. But yeah, it was just, like, just the weird one, like, kind of relic in our house, just because if you tried to get rid of it, none of the other landline phones would work. Go figure. Hey, but we fixed this one.
When I handed the phone back to Carmen, she seemed almost reluctant to take it from me.
So it's all working now, is it? I don't have to leave it to dry or let it cool down?
Nope, it's ready to go. It'll be ringing off the hook in no time.
That's if I can pay my phone bill, anyway. And the rent, and the suppliers. Anyway, take a seat and I'll be right with you. Your coffee's on the house.
If you are worried about phone bills and rent and suppliers, you should not be offering coffee on the house. But also that, from what I understand, is kind of just what it's like owning a small restaurant.
I sat at one of the empty tables, while at the counter, Carmen had started dialing the phone.
Hello! How's my favourite sister doing today?
As she talked, Carmen became more and more tense. This didn't seem like a call for some cooking advice.
I know I still owe you from last time, but I can't afford to take part in the festival if I don't pay.
I could almost feel the eye roll at the other end of the line.
You don't need to be here, though. Can't you just put the check in the post?
When the call ended, Carmen brought me my coffee, her hands trembling.
Sorry about that. My sister's decided to fly in for a visit. Oh god, I have to get ready. Actually, I might have another job for you. Can you come by tomorrow?
Sure thing. Ooh, camera. Let's see what we've got.
The next day, I'd promised Carmen I'd return to help her get the cafe ready for her sister's arrival. I was about to set out when I received an unexpected call from my hotel's reception desk. Apparently, another guest had asked for me by name. Curious, I took the creaking elevator up to the top floor and made my way to the room number they'd given. I knocked.
Are you here about the camera? It's about time.
The woman in front of me was immaculate. Not a hair out of place or a crease to be seen.
My sister tells me you know how to fix things. I'd usually go to an expert, of course, but in this town...
So this was Carmen's sister? The two of them couldn't have been more different.
That is a great, ooh, awkward face that we have here on Maria. That's 10 out of 10 art design.
Inside her room, I saw a beautiful reflex camera. Any professional photographer's dream.
The viewfinder is completely dark. I can't see anything through it at all. I assume you can figure out what's wrong?
Sure, let's take a look. Okay, we have 2 screws. Excellent. Get rid of that one, and this one.
I don't suppose you've fixed anything this valuable before.
I mean, depends on your definition of value. But yeah, cameras can get expensive. And considering I just happen to already have the parts on me, I probably have, actually.
If I use the screwdriver, I could adjust the angle of the mirror.
Okay. Oh. There we... Not quite. Eh. Think that's right?
Perfect. Now the viewfinder
Yes.
should be working.
There we go. Yeah. Also, this is a great example of how just cameras work for those who don't know. Yeah, it's just bouncing light off of mirrors for the viewfinders. And then the whole how it actually captures light onto the film, that is something that I do not know. But... okay, it probably wants us to put the... Oh, it even has the little instruction booklet there. That's nice. But yeah, just take this, slot it back into place. We'll probably put some fresh film in a second. But get you there. We haven't actually had to use a wide array of tools. I will say in terms of like taking this apart,
Looks like something is still missing.
oh yeah, we'll need to put the fresh film in terms of like removing that mirror and putting and especially putting the new one in, I would not be using my hands for that. I'd probably be using a pair of needle nose pliers, which are the, as the name kind of implies, the longer, thinner, tapered ones. maybe even some smooth ones for this, as opposed to ones that have teeth or grooves to them, just to avoid damaging the reflective surface.
There's still a part I need to attach. Where does it go?
I'm actually gonna put that over there. We can take this. You're going to... Does it want me to unpeel the film? Probably not. Okay, come on. Let's see if this layout gives us any...
You need the manual.
Hey, don't be insulting. I'm the one fixing your camera. There we go. Oh. Okay. Didn't need me to wind the film for her. That's fair. That would probably be presumptuous.
I felt a pang of envy as I handed the camera to Helena. I put my disposable to shame.
I picked it up on my first trip to Paris. It's a 1958 limited edition, the first of its kind. It cost me 3 months' salary, but it was worth it.
I had no idea what 3 months' salary meant to Helena, but I was pretty sure it was more than I could afford.
Yeah.
It was strange, really, that we were even staying in the same hotel. I'd picked this place because it was cheap and cheerful, but surely she could afford somewhere better?
Maybe this place was the one that still had rooms with the upcoming festival.
She took some test shots, fiddling with the camera settings until she was absolutely satisfied.
This work is immaculate. At least there's one person in this town who knows what they're doing. Sending you to me might be the first thing Carmen's actually gotten right.
I wondered why Helena had bothered coming if she thought so little of her sister.
I hear nothing from her for weeks, and then when she finally does call me, all she wants is money. If she thinks I'm lending her another penny, she'll have to convince me it's not a total waste of time.
That didn't sound good. If Hurricane Helena was about to hit, I hoped Carmen was ready.
Yeah. Money and family and whatnot is always complicated. Yeah. Is this it? Oh, this is a neon sign? Okay. Now we're really gonna get into things that I actually don't have a ton of experience with. So like, I mentioned that, you know, I've been doing handyman stuff for a while. I mentioned that like back on the power washing stream and also earlier on this one. But electrical work is not something I have a lot of experience with. I know a decent amount in terms of like, in relation to like repairing an appliance, but not for like actual electrical lines that go in your walls, that sort of thing. I have a little more experience with plumbing in that regard, but still not a ton. Though if you need to replace a sink, they are less intimidating than they might seem. You just need a very particular wrench or very long pliers. But who knows, we might get into that later in the game.
The sun was setting over Bellariva by the time I reached Carmen's cafe. From the outside, it looked as quiet as ever, but inside, I found Carmen cleaning like her life depended on it.
Maria! Oh, don't mind all of this. If Helena finds one speck of dust in here, I'll never hear the end of it.
Carmen seemed pleased to see me, but I sensed the fidgeting tension beneath each sweep of her mop. Trying to live up to the standards of someone like Helena seemed like an impossible task.
hope you didn't mind fixing the camera for her. She was furious when it broke. I really need this to go well. If she doesn't lend me the money, I don't know how long I can keep this place going.
Carmen led me to a back room, where she'd laid out the components of what looked like a neon sign.
I had this made when I first opened the cafe, but I'm hopeless with electronics.
So there was supposed to be a sign outside. This might explain the lack of customers.
I'd like to put it up before Helena gets here. Can you give it a try?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, we've got all the bits and bobs, it looks like. How do you attach to things? Ah, I see. Okay, there's the screws that I missed. Unscrew there. And rotate this. And unscrew here. Yeah, actually, this is, interestingly, this game is kind of proving one thing that I have about like home repair toolkits, as opposed to like handyman toolkits, because like a handyman or like a professional contractor or whatnot, they're gonna have more stuff than what your average person needs, because they're gonna be tackling all kinds of problems like all over the place. But I actually have this is a bit of advice slash hot take that I first heard this one from the trans handyman, who, if you don't know her, she's fantastic. She's on most forms of social media, and it's specifically she caters to like teaching people who are in a situation where they don't own the place that they're living, specifically usually renters, but like any other sort of thing like that, where it's like, okay, I need to like fix this thing, but like it's only a tiny little thing. I don't actually need my landlord's help for it, or like my lease says that I can make small adjustments and small repairs like this without having to get approval. How do I do this? Or maybe for like slightly larger things where it's just an uncommon problem and you're like, I mean, I've got the time, but I don't know how to do this without potentially causing a larger problem. That's where where a lot of her advice really comes into play, and also just good ways to learn about how to fix things. But the take, to get to the actual point, is that most people don't actually need a hammer. Like, yes, you'll probably need to like put nails in something at some point or another, but if you're putting together a kit for just like repair and restoring things, you probably don't actually need a hammer. Like, you're gonna need, as you've seen here, you're gonna need like screwdrivers and pliers way more often than you're gonna need a hammer. And if, like me, you are the sort of... Oh, that's not what I need. Oh, we're gonna glue this into place. I see. Okay. Put you down. If you're like me, and you own a solid pair of vice grips, you don't really need a hammer. A good pair of vice grips will do the job just fine in most situations. As long as the vice grips are, sturdy and you have good aim and don't need a ton of force behind it. Hammer's still good. Like, if you're actually driving nails for things, do get a hammer. But you don't, like, most people don't actually need a hammer, if that makes sense. Like, you can go surprising ways without really needing one. That's glued together. Okay, so that's just over the back. Okay, we're actually going to take you back off. We're going to flip you. Click that in place there. this in place there. Flip it back around, and that gives us the wiring that we need. That covers up everything. I don't need those wires again. Screw that back down. Other things that I think are in a list of stuff that everyone should have, but you don't necessarily think of. Zip ties are great. Twist ties are better. Though sometimes if you're making a permanent connection, zip ties are great. There's also microfiber cloths, and then a separate thing for just like rags to be disposable for like cleaning up spills and gunk and grease. Definitely have both. And rather than a flashlight, I would get like a portable LED light that has a magnet or like a fold-in hook to it, so that you can hang it or like attach it to things, and then it can stay stable while you have your hands free to do things. That's what I would recommend over a flashlight. Like, flashlights are still good, but if you can get something else, even better.
I don't know, it's a bit flat. Maybe if it flashes, it'll really catch people's eye.
Okay.
Great idea. I think I have a spare part that could do that.
Perfect. Put that over here. Flip this back around. Take the screws back out. I was wondering where the spare wires were going to come in handy. Yeah, that's the other thing. Never throw out like anything. Just like the thing of oh, glue. I need glue again. The thing of like any like whoever in your life has a bunch of tools and also doesn't get rid of like any little bits of scrap wire or spare nails or anything. The reason they don't get rid of them is because they know they've needed those parts again at some point and are holding on until when they will eventually need it. Okay, that's our switch.
It still needs something else. Maybe we can add one of these.
Okay, yeah, we can add more. Put that down there. Flip this back over. Attach one more circuit board. This is actually the kind of stuff I used to do for work. Not the repairing part, but the like attaching circuit boards and wires to things. But click that there. One more wire there, and rotate. And in the image, it had the ice cream cone, so we're just gonna go ahead with that. Pretty sure that's the correct one. We will finish screwing things down. Oop. Rotate you a little better. There we go.
It works. I'll screw everything together again and you'll be set.
Perfect. Oh, geez, it's already been an hour. Remember to stay hydrated and do shrimp check, everybody. Make sure you're not hunching over. Crack your vertebrae, all that.
The sign fixed, we headed outside and mounted it carefully over the cafe door.
Oh, that's perfect
Maria. It looks just how I imagined it. When I had this sign made, it all seemed so simple. Oh, I can't believe I might have to give it all up. I hope I've done enough.
The smile froze on her face as she spotted something over my shoulder. I turned to see.
Of course, my sister owns the only cafe in this entire town that isn't actually open.
For better or worse, Helena had arrived.
Oh dear.
Carmen opened her mouth to explain, but Helena swept indifferently past her. Finally pausing in the doorway, she turned back towards Carmen.
The first thing we're doing is getting rid of that hideous sign.
How dare you? It's not hideous. Neon should come back.
And with that, she disappeared inside. I hoped Carmen's chances of saving the cafe hadn't disappeared with her.
Neon signs are cool. Oh my god, it's a Game Boy SP. Game Boy Advance SP. Except totally not that because, you know, legal reasons. But that is a Game Boy Advance SP. I still have mine. It's great. I actually need to do some repairs on that myself, but that's for another day.
It was the day before the festival, and the whole town was busy getting ready. I had more work than I knew what to do with. When Joseph called with another job, I was craving the cool quiet of his and Izzy's seafront house. I'd barely reached their front door when I heard someone calling me.
Psst, Maria, I need your help. Quickly, it's top secret.
It was Izzy, peeking out from the side of the house. She beckoned for me to follow her. She led me through to a beautiful, unruly garden overflowing with flowers of every color. Nestled among them was a playhouse, its doorway almost completely obscured by a towering rose bush.
You have to squeeze past it and breathe in real small, like this.
Izzy took in a big gulp of air and crawled through the gap and into the playhouse. I hadn't planned on crawling in the dirt today, but the life of a repairwoman never did run smooth. On the table inside, there was an electronic toy. Not exactly the usual stock in my parents' antique shop.
I had an accident. I didn't do it on purpose or anything, but it won't turn on anymore. Can you fix it for me?
Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, cracked screen, cracked button. Where are the screws on this thing? Ah, yep. A 9-volt battery. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, it just all like pops off? No weird proprietary Y-shape, like Y-headed screws or anything? Dang, okay. Alright, we're gonna... just gonna undo these. That one we probably don't need to worry about. There's our burnt out one. There's our other good one. Remove that button. Slot this other button back in. And the game does the rotating of that for me. Yay! Click you back in place. There we go. They were like crossed over each other, if I remember. Yeah. Because like on a Game Boy you would have this being like sort of thing where there'd be a bunch of proprietary screws that you couldn't actually get out without the right stuff, or if you're me, you take a very small Phillips head or flathead one and just kind of hope for the best with the Y-shaped screws and just disconnect them that way, which is not necessarily the most recommended thing, but it was what I had at the time. There we go. Put you in there. Oh shoot, I don't remember which way things were plugged in. Shoot. Those two are blinking red, which probably means they're not. There we go. Okay. Yay! Yeah, okay, so a Game Boy SP that is like snap and pressure and like clicks together. Yeah, so you would have a little space in there where you could like press in like a screwdriver or your thumbnail to like press the plastic in and then remove it. And powered by a 9-volt battery. Huh. As opposed to like the like double A's that the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance would have been powered by. Get that in there. Get you back. Oh, nope, not what I meant. Get the battery. Get the battery case. There we go. And we'll put in our forest adventure. Not sure what that's supposed to be.
Do grown-ups play games as well?
Oh, do grown-ups play video games? Oh, child. Oh, yes, yes we do.
Can you show me how to play? I tried before, but it was so hard.
Yes, child. Yes, I will. Okay, it does let me do the button keys. Hang on. Oh, this is like an old Zelda one. Oh, at some point I will absolutely be playing some of the older Zelda games on this channel, because Minish Cap is absolutely a CozyCryptidGaming game, and is a personal favorite of mine. I just need to get a capture card set up, figured out. Oh, it's like it's like Pokemon Snap. Neat. This music is very good. I like this. I like this a lot. This is excellent.
Her toy fixed, I watched Izzy retreat into its screen, taking refuge in a 3-inch world of her own. Well, I'd better head inside. Your dad is waiting for me.
Please don't tell him about the game. He'll think I broke it on purpose.
Why would he think that?
Because, well, I kind of dropped it really hard at the wall.
Izzy looked down, scuffing her shoes on the worn floor of the playhouse.
Oh.
My dad said I have to go to this stupid festival tomorrow and put on a stupid dress, and I don't want to. All he cares about is working. He never wants to see me unless it's for his job. I'm not going. He can't make me.
Oh, kid.
With that, Izzy dove back through the rosebush and disappeared into the wilds of the garden. She was so young. She couldn't be expected to see that her dad was struggling too. It made me think, had I really tried hard enough to understand my parents' point of view? I was so focused on the adventures ahead of me. Maybe I didn't care enough about leaving them behind.
I like clockwork. It's
Leaving
fun.
Izzy hiding in the garden, I walked around to the front of the house and rang the doorbell. It was only then I noticed my favorite overalls covered in grass stains. I scrubbed desperately, but it was too late.
Maria, what are you doing? What happened to your clothes?
I was, repairing a lawnmower.
How unusual. Well, do come in. The job I've got for you is a little more delicate.
Not that unusual, actually. Small engine repair is like a thriving business in and of itself. Mostly for lawnmowers, snowblowers, things like that. There was a guy who did like all of that not too far away from where I lived. Always had work. Might have been the only one in town, but like he didn't need to do anything else.
Totally embarrassed, I walked into an orderly room filled with papers and ledgers. So this was his office. You must be so busy getting ready for the festival. Are you looking forward to it?
Of course. It's traditional for the mayor to judge food from every cafe and restaurant in town.
Oof.
I'll be declaring the best chef in Bellariva by this time tomorrow. Speaking of which,
He unclipped the watch from his wrist and very carefully handed it to me.
I'll have a tight schedule to follow, but my watch stopped working a while ago. Could you see if you can make it tick again?
Yeah. We can definitely do that. Let's get started. Okay. Ah, that is some broken oh, we're just fully.
Are you sure it will all fit back together?
Love always. Really tiny screws. Yeah, I like that it's that this is a different screwdriver. Like it's a different handle and everything. That's a good detail. These screws are tiny and easy to lose. Okay, yeah, we got some cracked parts in here.
Ah, the main plate has completely cracked. I'll need to replace it. The cogs look good, though. If I'm careful, I can reuse those.
Okay. Take out the cogs. This does not have anything, because that's the spinning bit over there. Let's see, what do you have? What do you have? Oh, you just pop the whole thing out. Awesome. Okay, and then we'll take this piece. There we go. I do like that it's lining them up for me, because otherwise I would be sketching out a little map of this as I was taking it apart, because I would not want to get any of this wrong. That should be good. Oh, you can get them wrong. Okay. Then let's... Yeah, everything's spinning just right. Perfect. I'll set you down. Oh, you've got those little tiny screws there. Okay. We'll rotate you. We'll get you in there. Get that out. Get that out. Now we can undo things. face. That's a broken lens, so we will take... Slide you in there.
I've not gone a day without this watch since my wife gave it to me.
Yeah. Secured. Oh, a little too far. There we go. Secured. Watch face. All our little ticking gears. Normally, I would be like triple checking to make sure that everything lined up perfectly because it's a watch and it's a personal memento and all of that. But luckily, everything clicks into place in this because it's a video game, and I love that. It's also not having me fiddle around with those little cross pins here. This is very satisfying. This is a very good game. This is everything I like about taking stuff apart and putting it back together without any of the occasional instances where I hurt my hands. But yeah, this is good. This is very good.
As I handed the watch back to Joseph, my fingers traced over the engraving on the back. I hoped fixing this was one small way I could help him move forward.
I can't believe it's working, Maria. Thank you. My wife was a brilliant woman. Feeling this ticking on my wrist, it makes me feel like she's still here. Watches measure minutes and hours like they're infinite. I didn't know we had so little time. Even with Isabel, I barely see her. And when I do, she acts like she hates me.
Just then, the phone rang. Even when he was at home, his work was never done.
Sorry, Maria. I have to take this. I'll see you at the festival tomorrow.
Oh, but I want to have the dialogue with him so that I can help him and his daughter, like, reunite and reach an understanding. Please?
As I left, I turned and saw him pacing the floor of his office, his watch glinting in the afternoon sun. I hoped its quiet ticking would at least bring him some peace during the busy days to come.
Oh, it's a projector! Okay, this'll be fun. Oh, and it does show how many spots I have left. Okay, we actually can probably finish this all in one go. This'll be great.
When my last job of the day brought me to Carmen's apartment, the door was opened by someone I didn't expect to see, Helena.
Sorry for inflicting this mess on you. Carmen's never seen a knick-knack she doesn't want to buy, apparently.
I also share this problem.
Carmen's apartment was a little chaotic, but totally charming. It was easy to imagine her living in a place like this. It definitely wasn't Helena's style. She seemed more upmarket than flea market. I wondered why she was even here.
We're having a clear-out, or at least I am. Carmen's not helping, as usual. There's a market at the festival tomorrow. I'm selling some of these things to make her some money. She says she has nothing when there's all this stuff right under her nose.
Helena stepped delicately past the items on the floor and reached down to pick up one from the pile.
Look at this slide projector. Our parents treasured it, but Carmen treats it like a piece of junk. Can you take a look?
Sure thing. Also, I really hope that you are checking in with Carmen before you sell any of her stuff, because don't do that. Don't sell people's stuff without their permission. I do get needing someone to help you, like, do the initial sort through first, because it can be overwhelming sorting through all your stuff. But don't do the actual getting rid of things without someone's express permission. Warning, beware electricity. Yes! Always.
That light bulb is completely smashed.
Electricity does not require your fear, it requires your respect.
Okay, I'll need to redirect the light to the lens at the top for the projector to work.
You should be able to do that. Angle this. And angle this. Very slow movements. There we go. Probably need to actually take that apart. Okay, let's see here. What do we have? Ah, more screws. There we are. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Click you apart.
Oh, typical. Carmen's even managed to get a slide stuck in here.
I mean, it doesn't actually look stuck. It just looks in there. But how do I get it out? What's the... Do I remove it from this side? No? I'm not sure how to disassemble this. Like, I can see it, or how, I don't know how the game wants me to disassemble this more accurately. I know how I would, but I just have, you know, big meaty hands that I would just try to jiggle things out of place with. I can see it there, but where is it? Well, maybe I can at least put this down, grab this. Ah, okay, that's where the last lens goes. Okay, or no, lens, mirror.
I was so excited when I moved to the city. Carmen, she looks so sad.
Oh.
Here's the clicker you'll need to attach. God knows how Carmen broke that as well.
I think that just goes over there. Let's...
I think I've missed a screw somehow.
Clicker. How do I get that out? Hang on. Leave you over there, over here. I would not normally leave, you know, that entire thing running, but it's a video game. We can do that. It's not a problem. Oh, it's the wire that's over there. That's okay. Yep. All right. Click that in place. Wire. Click. Clicker.
Still a few parts missing.
Ah, it goes there. Okay. Nope. There we go.
When we were younger, Carmen was always following me around.
Whoop. So I'll let it for a sec. There we go. Almost. Okay. Those are all in place. Now I can attach the screws. And the other screw.
Those screws still need to be put back.
I am aware, Maria. I was just getting to that.
I suppose she looked up to me. A cool older sister. She used to ask me when I was coming home, but I was always too busy.
Helena was transfixed, staring at the two young sisters the projector had brought glaringly into focus.
I never meant to let her down.
But you haven't, have you? You came all this way just to help with the cafe, plus the money.
That's the problem. There is no money. I lost my job a few months ago. My savings are almost gone. I have nothing.
Oh. Yeah.
Carmen thinks I'll throw my checkbook at her bad decisions and make them okay. But I can't. Not this time. You know, the funny thing is, I came here wanting to tell her the truth. But she's so infuriating. How can I ask her for help when all she cares about is herself?
It's not herself. She wants to make you proud of her.
Helena fell silent, shrinking under the gaze of her younger self, projected onto the wall.
We drifted so far apart when I moved away. It felt like the only thing keeping us together was my bank balance. I know I have to tell her the truth. It isn't fair. But I already lost everything else. What if I lose her too?
That is a rough place to be in, though. We getting bittersweet tonight, everyone. What? Boiling point. Is this a camp stove?
The day of the festival finally came, and after all my hard work, I was ready to put down my tools and pick up a fork. The smell as I entered the main square was incredible. Each stall was selling food even more delicious than the last.
Food truck festival. I cannot recommend food truck festivals enough. Like, truly, you will get some of the best food you will ever have. The widest variety of food in a single place. They're amazing. They're so good.
The competition would start any minute. Most stall holders were waiting anxiously for the mayor to pay them a visit. All of them, that was, except Carmen, who was still frantically chopping vegetables and stirring pots.
Maria! Thank God you're here. Can I ask you the world's biggest favour? Helena was supposed to help me run the stall today, but she never turned up. Probably too ashamed to show her face. I can't believe she lied to me.
Carmen was stirring so furiously she was in danger of tipping the pot over altogether.
The mayor will be here any minute for the judging, but I'm almost out of my special.
She wasn't really going to ask me, was she? Not on my day off.
I have a stove ready to build and everything. Can you set it up and make me a spare batch?
Okay. Okay. It's just setting it up. It's not actually like fixing a broken one. That's good. That's good. This is still a bit of a big ask, but
It all fits. Now to light the gas.
it's true. Wait. Nope. Gas safety. Turn the gas off. This is more the limitations of the video game, but I would have like I would already have like the match out and ready. Yeah. Okay, perfect. There we go. Are these? No, they're strike-on box matches. Okay, fine. Oh, it's not a click. Okay, I see. I see what I did wrong. There we go. Just need broth.
I think that pot is really boiling now. Smells great if I say so myself.
Broth probably shouldn't be boiling. You want
Here are the ingredients
You
that
want
Carmen's
this?
given me. What to add first?
Okay. We have our stock. We probably want. We're going to add our butter. I would have melted the butter in first, but that's me. Okay, half a stick of butter, so we are only going to take the cubes on the side. Oh, that is a nice rich color. Half carrot. Just gonna take. Maybe about half. 2 broccoli florets. That's very green now. If it turns green from only that much broccoli, there's probably a problem. Handful of chopped tomatoes. Don't know how much.
That looks good. I'll scoop a spoonful when I'm ready to serve.
3 wild mushrooms. Or do I need to put in more mushrooms? Yeah, because these are only half mushrooms. So I need. Plenty of. Half stick of, obviously, butter. Half a quarter stick of butter. Carrot, broccoli florets. Oh, okay. 4-season soup. And no onions. Which is a shame and incorrect in my opinion. Onions are a great flavor enhancer.
My part done, Carmen took over and added the finishing touches. It was just in time, and a moment later, Joseph arrived with Izzy in tow. Carmen anxiously handed them both a serving.
That was so tasty. Can I have some more, please?
Well, you've certainly earned yourself a loyal customer in my daughter. We have a few more meals to taste, but so far you are one of the best. Good luck.
Joseph and Izzy looked so happy together. Maybe the festival was doing them some good after all.
And she doesn't have to wear the dress. That's nice.
Carmen, on the other hand, seemed annoyed. But why, when it had all gone so well?
I wish Helena was here to see this. She's so convinced I'll never succeed at anything.
She wants what's best for you. She's just not very tactful about it.
Yes, I know. Even when I was a kid, she pushed me when no one else did. I just wish she hadn't lied to me. But then, I've asked so much of her over the years. I never stopped to think how much she actually had to give.
Okay, we're getting there. Okay, we got a good pun from that last one. Hello, Master Chef. Instead of Master Chief. Excellent. Ah, I love when there's good cooking and things.
The festival finished. I only had one day left before I had to catch my train and leave Bellariva behind. I couldn't go without saying goodbye to Carmen, so that evening I made my way to the cafe. It was unrecognizable. She'd done it. Best food in Bellariva. Half the town was outside waiting to see what the fuss was about.
Hey, excellent.
Maria, my favorite sous chef. Come on through.
It was Carmen, acting every inch the successful cafe owner she deserved to be. Even Helena was there, serving the coffees. This was the last place I expected to see her after yesterday's drama. Carmen led me through to a balcony upstairs, where she brought out an old record player.
I found out where Helena was on the day of the festival. She was selling her camera to clear the cafe's debts. But then she didn't have much left for herself. So, I've asked her to come and stay with me for a while. We have a lot of catching up to do.
Okay, wow. Jeez.
I wanted to give her this, to cheer her up. We listened to it all the time when we were kids. Do you think it has one last tune in it?
An old vinyl player? Yeah, let's see what we've got.
Okay, let's see what happens when we turn this on. The speaker isn't connected properly. I should check the wiring. Here's the problem. This wiring isn't connected properly.
Okay. Green.
If I turn the volume up, I should be able to hear it now.
Nice simple fix. Nope. Yeah.
The speaker isn't connected properly. I should check the wiring. The speaker isn't connected properly. I should check the wiring.
Oh, that's where the other... I didn't connect things. There we go.
I think should do it. This record should play beautifully.
Now we should work.
It's spinning the wrong way. How can I get it to play in the right direction? It must be to do with the motor. Let's see if one of these spares can turn things around.
Disconnect that. How does the motor get turned around in this? Remove that.
This motor doesn't seem to work. Maybe I'll have better luck with a different one.
Discontinue. Here we go.
Looks like something is still missing.
Needs its running belt.
Well, it's playing in the right direction. I should check it's turning at the correct speed.
Okay, so it should be something legible on the record itself that tells you what speed it is. Though that's not always necessarily correct. My partner has a vinyl that, by all accounts, should run at one speed and ends up having to run at a slightly different rate. That's not common for that size. I forget the exact numbers. But there we go. It's 45.
The record player's crackling tune must have caught Helena's ear, as she appeared a few moments later.
Is that my old record player? I can't believe you've kept it all these years, Carmen.
Leaning over the music, they looked just like the young sisters the slide projector had preserved all these years, inseparable once again. Carmen told me about your camera. That was a really generous thing to do.
I loved that camera, but I love my sister more. Now it's her time to be the person she wants to be.
Aww.
I'm going to stay here with her for a while. Make up for lost time.
Carmen and Helena's relationship wasn't suddenly going to be perfect, but they were both prepared to try. And to think, it had all started because of a call Carmen made about some seasoning tips. I guess in the end, maybe it wasn't so hard to just pick up the phone and dial. I hadn't spoken to my own parents in a year. I wanted to hear their voices more than anything. But the silence between us was so cavernous. I didn't know how I'd ever find the words to bridge it.
That's a music box. Okay. Let's see what we have. Closing in on... Yeah, we'll be able to finish this game. We might go like a few minutes over normal ending time, but that's fine.
My final morning in Bellariva, I received one last call out to Joseph and Izzy's house. I knew I had to pack, but I figured I could squeeze in one final job before I had to leave. When I arrived, I found Joseph tidying up his wilderness of a garden. The playhouse was already cleared. Inside, I could see Izzy happily testing out her screw driving skills on the back of her cassette deck.
Hey! There you go, kid.
You've made quite the impression. Isabel, Izzy, tells me she's going to be a repairwoman like Maria.
I'm sure she could be anything she wanted if she put her mind to it.
Also, hey, parents using a kid's preferred name, even if it's like, you know, just a nickname or anything. Good dad. Really good dad.
She could. She's a brilliant child. Spending the day with her at the festival, I haven't had so much fun in ages. I wanted to give her something before she starts to forget.
Inside, the house was transformed, flooded with light and the sounds of the garden. It felt alive again. This would be my last repair in Bellariva, but it felt like it was the house that had really been restored.
It's a music box. It used to play beautifully, but now when I wind it up, nothing happens.
Oh, it's probably the springs are disconnected.
I'd love for Izzy to hear it sing again. Can you help?
Yeah, let's see what we've got. Okay. Faded photograph of some kind. Oh, that just completely oh, it's just a drawer. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Unscrew this. Unscrew this. Rotate you a little more. Click in place. Click in place. Remove. Oh, just pops right out. Okay, cool. Yeah, these would probably have some kind of like pressure fit or something like that. Is there any way to remove the lid? No? Okay, then I'll just have to deal with that. Oh, whole thing lifts out. Perfect.
This mechanism is completely broken.
Oh.
I'll need to take it all apart before I can fix it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we're gonna need spares of everything. Oh, yeah, you would need... yeah, so for those who don't know, the way a music box works is you have these set of like tines here that are different lengths that will produce different notes, and then this cylinder is what turns and plucks those tines at the right spacing and time, at the right spacing to produce the music. Let's see, you also need to be removed. Okay, so you were right there to start. Take you, go here, and then you go here. Fresh. Oh, nope. A fresh cylinder goes in there. That should work. Yeah, and then basically the key will turn. This coiled bit of metal will tighten and then slowly release, which is what turns that gear, which then turns everything else in time to both turn this cylinder and also turn what I assume will be a like dancing bird thing as well. Okay, I think this is all set. We can reattach you. Yeah, because there's another set there. Okay. Go here. Oh, they turn over. That's how it works. Okay, yeah. That clicks in place. Yeah, if this was a a full one, there would be a lot more screws holding things together, probably. Or, like, we'd actually get into the details of what the pressure fits were, or things like that. Tweezers. Tweezers are also a thing that should be in everyone's toolkit. Preferably, like, multiple sizes, or lengths of them, but, a good set of tweezers is something that really is always good to have. There's glue there, but I don't know what it would be for at this point. Okay. Take out these.
Maria, could you add this family picture of us?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Oh. Yeah, absolutely, man. I would be doing this a lot neater, but I would also probably want a bone folder, which is basically it's just a polished and thin piece of traditionally cow bone. Most of them are made out of plastic these days. If you can get an actual bone one, do. But it's for like creasing and flattening things. You can use it to really, like, I would put smaller amounts of glue probably closer to the center and then use the bone folder to gently press it out to the edges. Also really good for like folding cards, folding letters.
There's still a part I need to
like
attach. Where does it go?
But yeah, bone folders are great. There we go. Something's not working right. Maybe the gears aren't in the right positioning? Let's try that again. I thought I had them in the right spots, but perhaps I was wrong. Aha! Let's try it now. Okay, there we go. Now it works properly.
Perfect. The mechanism is good as new.
Yeah, that stays in there.
There's still a part I need to attach. Where does it go?
Okay. Get all these attached in. And you. And you.
I think that's everything back together again. I should play it to make sure.
My wife used to sing this song to Izzy each night before bed, but I always worked too late to join them. Will you dream a dream for me if I sit by your side and hold you so tight? Know that I will always love you, even though we both know that we must say goodnight.
Aww. That's really sweet. That's just really sweet.
I've missed so much already. I want to be the father my wife wanted me to be. I've ended up so much like my own father, working all the time. Izzy needs me more than that, especially now it's just the two of us. My daughter comes first. Well, until she gets bored of her stuffy old dad anyway.
Oh.
I'll never ever get bored of you, Dad.
Izzy came running into the room where Joseph scooped her up and onto his shoulders.
Oh.
She gazed at the music box, her eyes shining. I'd never seen her look so happy.
Thank you, Maria, for everything. The things you've fixed for me. I'm so glad to have them back.
Joseph was a good father, and I could tell he was determined to be an even better one. When it came down to it, that was all any of us wanted. A second chance to make something right. My time in Bellariva was almost over, but before I left, I knew there was something of my own I needed to fix.
Oh? Our own suitcase?
My time in Bellariva was almost at an end. Another chapter finished in a story whose ending I hadn't felt ready to write. The people I'd met, the items I'd restored, they'd taught me so much about what was really important. Pulling out my suitcase from beneath the bed, I remembered the day I stole it from my parents' shop, the day I left. Afterwards, I was too ashamed to call them, to apologize. It was a guilt I'd been carrying around every day since.
Oh.
As I packed, I knew that it was up to me to find a way to lighten the load.
That's a hard one. Let's see if we can help you out, Maria.
Helena gave me these designer shirts. Not sure I'll pull them off as well as she does.
Passport?
My train ticket. Can't believe it's time to leave Bellariva behind. The soundtrack to my travels. I'll be listening to this on the journey.
With headphones. Please use headphones in public transit. Please don't be that person who doesn't. Hey, we got the recipe.
The recipe for Carmen's special. I'm under strict instructions to guard it with my life. My parents would love Bellariva. Maybe I can convince them to make the trip. Joseph's idea of light reading for the train. It does look thorough.
I think the history of watches would be really cool to read through. It's a little dinosaur toy.
Izzy gave me this in exchange for my repair manual. She'll be a pro in no time.
Okay.
My suitcase was full, but it was my heart that felt heavy as I made my way to the station. I was sorry to be leaving Bellariva behind, but I hoped that in my own small way I'd made a difference. Helena and Carmen's reunion was possible because they'd learned to overcome their differences. Joseph had realized he shouldn't let his grief or his work get in the way of his relationship with Izzy. They'd each learned to see things from someone else's perspective. Maybe it was time I saw things through my parents' eyes. I knew it would be easier to jump on the next train, put even more distance between us, but I finally felt ready to talk to them. I just didn't know if they would feel the same. Did I even remember their number? I wasn't sure until I reached for the phone and it all came flooding back.
Here we go.
Mom? Dad?
Maria? Is that you?
Aww. That's a good way to do it. That's a good way to... Oh, you can click through the credits. Okay. Hey, everybody getting to have their own voice. Well, this is great. This was a really good little game. This is the kind of stuff that I was hoping I would like show more people. This is just nice. Like a little bittersweet to some of it, but just nice. Epilogue. Okay. Yeah. We'll finish this one last thing, and then that'll... Oh!
Dear Maria, come in here. Sorry I haven't written. The cafe's been absolutely manic since you left. Luckily, I have Helena here to help. You wouldn't recognise her. She's like a new woman. She's always running round, taking orders and making drinks. I even heard her compliment a customer on their outfit. Personally, I draw the line at fluorescent green bowling shirts, but each to their own. It certainly made the customer smile.
Hey.
She misses the city, though. Bellariva's many things, but it's definitely not as chic as she'd like. She said there was a coffee shop near her old apartment where they made coffee with a shape drawn on top. It got me thinking, I'm an award-winning chef. I can figure out how to put a leaf on a cappuccino. A bit of cosmopolitan coffee might be just what Helena needs. Of course, ordering a new coffee machine was the easy part. I wish you could have seen the mess I got into trying to put the thing together.
Alright, let's fix this coffee machine.
I saw Maria use her screwdriver a million times. Taking this apart will be easy. These pipes look pretty simple. I should start with them.
Sure. Simple.
I'll need to connect all the pipes correctly to stop the steam pouring out. How can there be so much steam? Ugh, I'm getting soaked.
Oh, I see where I went wrong. This this one goes here, then this one goes here.
Finally,
There
no
we
more
go.
steam.
Feel like this should also come apart. Apparently not. Huh. Ah, I see some screws. Where does this connect? Oh, nope.
Finally, no more steam.
Oh, you go in there. Okay. And let's just double check. Sprayer goes to 3, power goes to 1. There we go. And 2 more screws, and we're almost done with a good old espresso machine. I used to know how to work one of these, but that was when I worked as a dishwasher, and it just became easier to make the cappuccino myself. Why is it not?
It doesn't seem to work unless the circuit lights are all green.
Oh, perhaps I did make a mistake. Unscrew. And unscrew. Always check your work, kids. Maybe it does have to all be in order? Power, spray, coffee. Power. Nope. Rotate a little more. Spray. Coffee. Power. Spray. Coffee. Okay. Yep. Power is correct. Oh, I see. Nope. Okay, here we go. No, come on. Green light, green light. All green lights? We have all green lights. Okay, we're golden. Sometimes you just gotta recheck everything. Screw that in place. Screw that in place. Reattach this. Nope, there we go.
I think that's everything. Better test the buttons, just to make sure.
There's our steam. There's our coffee.
All done. Piece of cake. Time to make my first coffee, I think.
Go.
Smells delicious. Now to make it look magical. A perfect coffee. All it needs is a saucer and a couple of Helena's favourite biscuits.
Well, it's not quite a leaf, but it's something. There we go.
I was feeling more has-been than coffee queen by the time I'd made a drink fit for human consumption. It looked a bit, postmodern, but knowing Helena's refined tastes, I hope she'd think it was intentional. Always the connoisseur. She didn't even bother to look at it at first. She was so busy wafting it under her nose. Steamed up her glasses, of course. How was she going to see my work of art through an eye full of fog? When she finally spotted it, though, she was totally impressed. I'll admit, she spent several minutes trying to figure out exactly what it was I'd drawn. She decided it was probably a horse. Well, what she doesn't know won't hurt her. She was impressed enough to ask for another one. I guess I'll need to get some practice in. The whole thing was such hard work, Maria. I never realised how difficult it was, all that mechanical stuff. It made me realise how much I have to thank you for, so I wanted to say that now. Better latte than never.
Good pun.
Hoping you're well. Your friend, Carl.
Alright. Well, this has been a just truly lovely little game. Again, this has been Assemble with Care. It's available on Steam, and probably on several other ways of playing it on PC. I don't know if it's available for consoles, but this is just a delightful little game about helping people restore their things. Yeah, this has been great. Again, there will be no stream next week, but the week after we will begin with some very festive gaming for the end of the year. So until then, hope everybody stays hydrated. Be sure to eat. Be sure to take your meds. Be sure to have water. Make sure you don't hunch. And as always, stay cozy out there, everyone. Have a great night.